Hello, I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. It's brought to you by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the Special District Association responsible for bringing the area free to access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is the community TV station, so if there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119 or email dcbnnews@gmail.com. And if you're a business or organization or individual, we welcome you to provide sponsorship opportunities, and we welcome you to participate in that for the year. Today is the Wednesday program for April 14th, 2021 DCTV Daily News. A solar project proposed northwest of Cortez. Empire Electric would purchase power. Some neighbors object to location, as reported by the Journal's Jim Imiaga. He wrote, a large solar project is proposed northwest of Cortez in cooperation with Empire Electric Association. The 5-megawatt solar energy system would be built on 52 acres off County Road 24 on private land and Empire Electric property. It would be built and owned by Cortez Solar 2 LLC, a subsidiary of One Energy Development, and if approved, construction is planned for this September. Empire Electric will buy the electricity under a power purchase agreement with Cortez Solar 2. The project is designed so that the electricity produced will be used within the community. The project is adjacent to Empire's engineering and operations facility on Road L.4 and will connect directly to the utility's distribution system. No new electrical lines or on adjoining property are required. The photovoltaic solar panels will be mounted on a system that tracks the sun for maximum exposure. It is estimated the project will produce enough energy to meet the needs of about 1,200 average American households annually. That according to the Environmental Protection Agency's greenhouse gas equivalency calculator. After a public hearing on April 8th, the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Board recommended the project's high-impact permit be approved and noted that solar farms are an allowable use for that area under the Land Use Code. It next will go in front of the county commissioners for a second public hearing and decision. A date for the hearing is pending. During the planning board public hearing, a few neighbors voiced concerns about the project's impacts on the aesthetics, values, and such of the neighborhood. Its location is a mix of agricultural, residential, and industrial uses. Kathy Topper moved to the area about 30 years ago for the scenic agricultural landscape. In a letter of opposition read at the meeting, she stated the solar arrays will mar her view, hurt her property value, and decrease the natural aspects of the neighborhood. Quote, for 3 decades, I have been able to begin my days viewing the beautiful agricultural landscape and watching deer, rabbits, eagles. If the solar farm is built, all I will see is a solar farm and a few trees, Topper wrote. She expressed concerns about the loss of agricultural land and wildlife habitat and urged a new location be found away from residences. Proponent Empire Electric touted the value of clean, renewable solar power and the affordable energy passed on to the consumer and the customer. The project is expected to benefit all of EEA's members by providing low-cost energy and downward rate pressure, said Josh Dellinger, Empire Electric Association's general manager, back in a March 15th letter supporting the project. A glare analysis of the solar arrays by Forge Solar concluded that no glare was anticipated for nearby homes, roads, or flights using the Cortez Municipal Airport, according to project documents. Empire is a distribution cooperative of Tri-State Generation and Transmission Association and purchases 95% of its power from Tri-State under a long-term contract. Empire is free to purchase the remaining 5% of power from other sources and has chosen to do so from local solar projects, said Andy Carter, Energy Management Advisor for Empire. Local solar power offers, quote, cheaper prices than Tri-State, he said, which, quote, helps keep rates lower for customers and reduces operating costs. Empire also has a power purchase agreement with the 2.2 megawatt solar array approved for construction next to Totten Lake. That project is also being built by One Energy. A third solar project, Rocky Ford, is in the planning stages for southeast of Cortez, and Empire has agreed to purchase the power from that project as well. When combined with other Empire solar projects, the energy purchases are expected to mostly meet the 5% cap for power sources other than Tri-State. And here in Dolores County, the Juwi, Juwi solar farm project on somewhere near 800 acres, converting farmland to a large solar array, is at the Planning Commission's feet at this point as they work through the very large, thick proposal. It's about 3 inches in a binder, before it heads on up to the Dolores County Commissioners for review, public input, and final decisions. And this is a project that will be built by Dewey, and then Tri-State will be the one operating it, as far as I understand from the initial proposal. And we'll do more follow-up on that as that starts to go through the process. Now let's take a look at our local weather for the week. Today it's quite windy out there, as you know. There's a red flag warning in place until 9 p.m. tonight. And throughout the day expected to be sunny with a high near 64 degrees. Again, windy with a south wind 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts as high as 45. I know it knocked over some heavy items yesterday on my property. Tonight, increasing clouds with a low around 36 degrees. Again, windy with a south-southwest wind 20 to 30 miles an hour, decreasing to 10 to 20 after midnight. But winds could gust as high as 50 miles an hour. For Thursday, now there's a small 20% chance of showers in the afternoon with mostly sunny skies and a high near 55. South-southeast wind around 15 miles an hour, becoming northwest in the afternoon. The winds could gust on Thursday as high as 25. For Thursday night, partly cloudy and a low around 29. So get a little cold again. North winds will make it feel even colder at 5 to 15 miles an hour. And now that continues into Friday with another 20% chance of showers in the afternoon. Sunny with a high near 52 degrees. North winds just 5 to 15 miles an hour. For Friday night, partly cloudy and a low around 29. So the striping may have changed the path of our week's weather, as Saturday, again, we now see a 30% chance for showers in the afternoon. Mostly sunny and a high near 50 degrees with Saturday night mostly clear and a low around 28. Into Sunday, sunny again with a high near 53 with Sunday night mostly clear and a low around 30. And into next week, Monday, sunny with a high near 60 degrees, Monday night mostly clear and a low around 34 for now. And now, back to our news. The state finds new ways to make money on cannabis. 2 years ago, it was fast and fancy cars. Colorado Politics reports that this month it's weed, and just in time to celebrate 420. The state is auctioning off the rights to 14 different official cannabis-themed license plates. Proceeds benefit the Colorado Disability Funding Committee, which funds disability assistance and new programs. The themes include indica and sativa, 2 types of weed, or cannabis, hemp, stash, is it 420, and what's likely to be one of the most popular, TEGRITY, Tegrity. That's a reference to the Comedy Central show South Park and character Randy Marsh's cannabis farm. As of Tuesday, that plate has garnered 125 bids and is sitting now at $3,270 as the time of this article. Is It 420, however, is at the top draw as of Tuesday at $6,510 with 65 bids. 2 other plates up for auction, Ganja and the number 4-hemp, were both on a list of rejected personalized plates from the Department of Motor Vehicles back in 2009, according to the ACLU of Colorado. Quote, Colorado is proud of our creativity and ingenuity. We've been a leader in the cannabis space for over a decade, and this effort allows us to fund critical projects and programs in our disability community, end quote, said Governor Jared Polis in a statement on Tuesday. According to the auction website, those who want these one-of-a-kind plates will bid on the right to own the use of the configuration of letters and numbers on their Colorado license plate, or have the ability to purchase a novelty plate and retain the exclusive rights to use the configuration on their Colorado license plate at a later date. Buyers are responsible for paying all standard registration fees, a personalized plate production fee, and any additional fees for a designer background if they don't want the standard white and green license plate. Polis also reminds Coloradans that it is not a good idea to mix driving and cannabis. Quote, cannabis impairs critical abilities needed to drive safely, which can result in a crash. A DUI can cost more than $13,500 and include jail time, loss of license, and more, the governor threw in. Bidding is online and remains open until 4:20 p.m. Mountain Time on April 20th. Questions should be directed to SOC_DFC at state.co.us. The 2019 auction raised $23,540 for the Disability Committee, with the top bid for a plate with the letters McLaren, which that's a very expensive vehicle if you didn't know that, which netted $6,000, and a plate labeled It's Fast was the hottest plate of the auction with 95 bids. It raised $4,005, and a, quote, Bentley plate raised $3,500. Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland recently completed a 3-day visit to the Monticello-Blanding area to investigate the boundaries of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante National Monuments, as reported in the San Juan Record News out of Monticello with courtesy photo. The first Native American Secretary of the Interior arrived in Bluff last Wednesday, April 7th, where she met with tribal officials, including Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez. Nez said he supports the restoration of the 1.35 million acres in the initial monument boundaries and the potential expansion to the 1.9 million acres, which was initially proposed by the Intertribal Coalition when it recommended the establishment of the monument to President Obama. This was an opportunity to share with Secretary Haaland the significance of Bears Ears to the Navajo people, said Nez. This landscape is home to many historical and cultural sites, plants, water, traditional medicines, and teachings for our people. It also provided refuge for our people in times of conflict. Bears Ears is sacred and it deserves to be protected, Nez added. Secretary Haaland also met on April 7th with Utah Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deirdre Henderson, and members of the Utah congressional delegation, including Senator Mitt Romney and Representatives John Curtis and Blake Moore. On April 8th, Haaland left Bluff early for a ceremonial visit with tribal elders. Davis Filfred, Utah Dene Bikia Board Chairman, said it was an honor and a privilege to accompany Secretary Haaland to an early morning Native American ceremony on top of Cedar Mesa near the Moki Dugway and overlooking the Goosenecks, Valley of the Gods, and Monument Valley. While the private ceremonial visit was taking place, other members of the delegation briefly toured several sites, including the Wolfman Panel and the Procession Panel in Butler Wash, and afterwards, the larger group, including Haaland, met at the Moki Dugway and visited several sites together on Cedar Mesa, Mule Canyon, and Butler Wash. During a visit to a little-known archaeological site on Cedar Mesa, Carlton Baucate, Lieutenant Governor of Pueblo Zuni, explained the Native American connection to the area and the desire of the Intertribal Coalition to see it protected. The site has been impacted by livestock, wood gathering, and visitation, and was recently fenced in order to protect it from further degradation. The group also stopped at the Cave Tower site on Mule Canyon, which is on a section of state trust land administered by SITLA, the School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration of Utah. SITLA Director David Urey met with the group to discuss the site, along with the large number of state trust land sections that are included in the two monuments. From there, it was on to Butler Wash, where the group hiked to the Butler Wash ruins. Several members of the group also completed a hike to the Target ruin. The group then traveled to Edge of Cedar State Park Museum in Blanding for a press conference and a meet with local officials. And they also, apparently according to a friend, stopped by the Ace hardware store down there, and they were all visiting in there as well. Then on Friday, April 9th, the group traveled to Kane County on the State of Utah airplane to briefly visit the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument and meet with local officials. Senator Mike Lee and Representatives Burgess Owens and Chris Stewart participated in the meetings in Kane County. The two national monuments were established by Democrat presidents who used the 1906 Antiquities Act to give national monument status to millions of acres of public land in southeast and south central Utah. In 2017, President Trump dramatically reduced the boundaries of the monuments. On his first day in office, President Biden ordered a review of the boundaries, and Haaland, who was confirmed as Interior Secretary less than 4 weeks ago, has made the visit her first order of business. A Secretary of the Interior has visited San Juan County for the past 3 presidential administrations, following a 2016 visit by Sally Jewell of the Obama administration and a 2017 visit by Ryan Zinke of the Trump administration. And today's High Canyon Country happenings. You may have heard of Babylon Bee online, and if not, you might want to visit it. It's a satirical website, though some people share the links, not checking that the story is totally bogus and making fun of a situation. In their defense, though, these days it's difficult to see at first glance what's truth or not. Here's an example from today's headlines. Quote, Minneapolis City Council to offer looting passports. That's sarcasm. They write, the Minneapolis City Council has voted unanimously for the equitable distribution of looting passports to peaceful protesters. Quote, it can be confusing for citizens to know if a crime is acceptable or not based on the ebb and flow of the City Council's agenda, said Councilperson Maria Saliva. With looting passports, protesters can know when it's okay to loot stores and destroy businesses in the name of social justice. Looting passports could not come at a better time, as 8 months have passed since looting was in vogue, and many peaceful protesters are in dire need of updated name-brand clothing and bigger TVs. When asked whether he believed looting passports could be seen as unfairly punishing honest business owners, President Biden replied, quote, "Well, you can't swat a cow gator without priming the barrel bark, which gobbles up the huffles for good old spasma turble, you know?" At press time, the City Council was discussing the logistics of distributing the passports based on a citizen's melanin levels. Obviously, fighting the oppression of white supremacy and ushering in a utopia of equity for all begins with looting, stated a council member for Minneapolis from his suburban mansion surrounded by police. The internet is what has ruined the good old-fashioned April Fool's Day for spoofing articles and getting a good laugh, as all articles once online remain online and can be brought up at any time and any day of the year. So, once you've hit the end of the internet and had enough of the riots and shootings and actual devastation of COVID, vaccines, conversations, and people yelling at you from the TV, head on over to babylonbee.com, and fiction mocking today's headlines is sure to give you a smile. And speaking of bees in weird but real news online, here's a picture of a blue-banded bee, the Amygdala cingulata. They live mostly in Australia. These bees are very important for the production of food and contribute to at least 30% of crops in Australia. How cool is that bee? And to catch the program online, visit our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, or also online on YouTube. Both you can subscribe to or follow easily and join in on the conversation. This is your local community station, so if you have something you'd like to share, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call 970-677-4119. Thank you for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. And if you like the program, again, please do like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Be well and keep thinking for yourself.